The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 2 to 6 reveal that Nate Hastings will have quite a challenge to tackle. After agreeing to find Damien for Amy Lewis, Nate will ultimately have to do some sleuthing and try to nail down where his half-brother might be. Will Audra Charles team up with Nate and perhaps become a key player in his mission? Audra doesn't have much else to do these days, so it's easy to imagine her joining forces with Nate and uncovering a crucial clue about Damien's whereabouts. However, it's also possible that Nate will turn to someone like Victor Newman to boost his search efforts. Victor and Nate have had their issues in the past, but we'd say Victor might help Nate out on this if he asked nicely. Whatever the case, time is of the essence for Amy since she's dying of leukemia. Amy wants to reconnect with Damien and give him the truth about his father and half-brother before it's too late. Of course, there's a chance Amy might get a miracle down the road. There might be some life-saving treatment that could still help Amy depending on where Y and R is going with all this. In the meantime, let's talk about Kyle Abbott and our predictions on whether he'll accept the Jabot co-CEO position. Kyle may open up to Claire Newman about Diane Jenkins Abbott, offering him the job back with Jack Abbott's approval. Although Kyle might have some reservations, Claire may gently push him to let go of his stubborn resentment and just embrace this opportunity. Kyle has a chance to land in the position he wants and repair the damage with his family, so Claire may give him a nudge to just let it all happen. At some point, Claire and Kyle will eventually head to society for a meal together. That's where Kyle and Claire will cross paths with a weird blonde lady in sunglasses and a hat. It'll actually be a wig-wearing Jordan, but she'll use a British accent when Claire corners her about whether they know each other. Jordan will play it off like they're strangers and head on her way, but Claire may end up with an eerie feeling. Even if Claire doesn't have any hint of Jordan recognition, she may get an odd vibe about this whole encounter. As for Jordan, she may panic a bit after the close call and push Ian to start stepping up for his own dirty work. Ian Ward is the one who's legitimately free, so when will he make his presence known in Genoa City? No matter how things play out, Jordan and Ian will have to be careful if they want to avoid tipping people off to trouble. Nick Newman can already tell something isn't right when it comes to Sharon Newman's crimes and confession. After Nick reaches out to Chance Chancellor and updates him on some concerns, he'll seek the detective's assistance. Nick will hope that between the two of them, maybe they can uncover more details and reveal the rest of the story. Next, Jack will have a proposal for Diane to consider. Now that Diane is stepping aside for Kyle's sake at Jabot, Jack might have a new job for his wife. Regardless, Jack may reveal the next steps in fighting back against Victor, since he's still got some tricks in store for the moustache. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some stunning news and mysterious moments are still to come during the week of December 2 to 6, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers, November 28, 2024. While both characters have a complicated and storied history together, the idea that they could rekindle their relationship again seems unlikely to some. However, given their past, the idea of another secret romance between the two isn't completely out of the question. Billy and Phyllis have had an on-again, off-again relationship over the years, marked by betrayal, passion, and, of course, heartbreak. Their chemistry has always been undeniable, but so has the tumultuous nature of their connection. However, with both of them going through significant personal struggles at the moment, the question arises: could Billy and Phyllis once again find themselves wrapped up in an unexpected romance? For Billy, his relationship with Sally has been a source of hope and new beginnings, but there are still some unresolved issues between them. While Billy seems to care for Sally deeply, they still haven't fully connected on an emotional level. Sally remains closed off, particularly about her past, and Billy has expressed his desire to understand her better. However, Sally's reluctance to open up could be a major obstacle in their relationship, leaving Billy to question whether there is a deeper connection or just surface-level attraction. If this emotional gap continues to grow, it could lead Billy to look elsewhere for the emotional intimacy he craves. Enter Phyllis, someone who knows Billy inside and out and can provide the comfort and understanding he's missing right now. Phyllis, on the other hand, is going through one of the most challenging periods of her life. After the traumatic events she has endured, it's clear she's struggling with her sense of self-worth and is feeling isolated in her time of need. It's not unimaginable that she could lean on someone she trusts, like Billy. Could this emotional connection spark the beginning of a secret relationship between the two? While Billy and Phyllis would certainly keep such a relationship under wraps, given their history, it's possible that their shared history and emotional turmoil could draw them together in ways that no one expects. But is this a truly lasting relationship or simply a case of two people seeking comfort during difficult times? The dynamics between Billy, Sally, and Phyllis will continue to evolve, and it's clear that both Billy and Phyllis are facing complex emotional challenges. Whether or not they fall into another secret romance remains to be seen, but it's undeniable that their unresolved tension could create the perfect storm for something unexpected to happen. Sally and Billy, happiness or misunderstanding? Sally and Billy are a couple that has captivated viewers with their chemistry, but it's clear that they're still in the early stages of truly understanding each other. Billy has always been someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, whereas Sally tends to keep her cards close to her chest. While they are clearly attracted to one another and have shared some deep moments, there are still significant barriers between them. Billy is looking for a deeper connection and emotional transparency from Sally, but Sally is holding back, reluctant to share certain parts of her past. Sally's reluctance to fully open up to Billy could be a major roadblock to their relationship moving forward. While she is certainly invested in Billy, her refusal to divulge more about her past creates an emotional distance between them that Billy might find difficult to bridge. This lack of trust and emotional transparency could prevent Billy from fully trusting her or investing in a more serious relationship. Without that emotional closeness, it's hard to see their bond evolving into something deeper and more lasting. Billy's desire to understand Sally better is genuine, but if she continues to close herself off, it might become too much for him to handle. His past experiences with relationships, particularly with Phyllis, have taught him the importance of being open and vulnerable with the people he loves. If Sally is unwilling to meet him halfway, it might lead Billy to reconsider the future of their relationship. The emotional disconnect between them could also leave Billy vulnerable to Phyllis or another woman who might offer the emotional intimacy he's missing with Sally. Phyllis and her struggles, can she overcome alone? Meanwhile, Phyllis is facing an emotional crisis of her own. After enduring betrayal, heartbreak, and personal turmoil, she finds herself in a place of deep emotional pain. She is struggling with a sense of loneliness, as many people in her life have either turned against her or distanced themselves. While she has moments of strength, it's clear that Phyllis needs support to overcome the weight of her circumstances. She's not the type to easily admit weakness, but her internal struggle is beginning to show. Could she manage to pull herself out of this dark place alone, or will she need someone by her side to help her heal? Phyllis's vulnerability could be what brings her back into Billy's orbit. Having been through so much recently, she may feel more connected to Billy, someone who has also endured personal setbacks and loss. But whether Billy would be willing to take on the emotional burden of Phyllis's troubles is another question. Their past is riddled with complications, and the possibility of revisiting their old dynamic could be both tempting and dangerous for them both. Still, Phyllis could very well lean on Billy for emotional support during her darkest moments, which might lead to a deeper bond between them than either expected. Victor and Nikki, power struggles at Chancellor Abbott. Meanwhile, the drama at Chancellor Abbott Enterprises continues to unfold with Victor Newman's recent move to install Nikki as CEO, raising tensions within the family. While this may seem like a gesture of empowerment for Nikki, it's clear that Victor has no intention of giving her full control. Nikki is placed in the CEO position, but without the actual power to make decisions, leaving her feeling more like a figurehead than an actual leader. This move is classic Victor, manipulating the situation to keep a tight grip on the family business, while giving the appearance of support for Nikki. This lack of true power frustrates Nikki, who has always been someone who craves respect and control in her professional life. As CEO, she wants to make meaningful decisions, not just be a puppet in her husband's larger game. The tension between her and Victor is escalating as Nikki struggles with her diminishing influence in the company. It seems that Victor is doing everything he can to maintain his control, and it's making Nikki question her role in both the company and their marriage. Victor's desire for control extends to his relationships with those around him. While he loves Nikki, his need to always be the one pulling the strings has put a strain on their marriage. Nikki may start to see this power struggle as a betrayal of the partnership they once had, and it could lead her to make drastic decisions about her future at Chancellor Abbott or even her future with Victor. Jordan and Claire, a temptation Claire will resist. Jordan's attempt to pull Claire back into a life of crime and corruption is another major storyline to watch. Claire has come a long way since her darker days, and now that she has found happiness, she has no intention of going back to her old life. She is content in her current life and has no desire to disrupt her peace for the chaos Jordan represents. Claire is well aware of Jordan's manipulative ways and his ability to lure people back into his dangerous web. However, she's made significant strides in rebuilding her life, and she's unwilling to risk everything she's worked for just to follow Jordan's destructive path. Her current happiness, her stability, and her future mean more to her now than anything Jordan can offer her. She has no interest in being his pawn again, especially when she knows how much it would cost her. Jordan's temptation will only become more dangerous, but Claire's resolve seems unshakable. She understands that Jordan's life of crime and lies will never bring her the peace and joy she has now. She's done with the games and the manipulation, and she's willing to stand firm no matter what. The contrast between their lives is striking. Claire has moved on, while Jordan remains stuck in the past. And it's this difference that will likely define the course of their interactions going forward. Conclusion: a web of complicated relationships. The Young and the Restless is full of emotional complexity and power struggles, with characters like Billy, Phyllis, Nikki, and Claire at the center of it all. Billy and Phyllis's potential secret relationship, Sally and Billy's struggles to connect emotionally, Victor's manipulations of Nikki, and Claire's resistance to Jordan's temptations all paint a picture of a community that is constantly shifting and evolving. Whether these characters can find stability or fall further into the chaos remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: Genoa City's drama is far from over. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 27, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Victor Newman to warn Claire Grace Newman. Nate Hastings opens his home to Amy Lewis, coming up on The Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott make a confession about their deception. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless, Claire Grace Newman's discovery. My and our spoilers for Wednesday, November 27, reveal that Claire just had a talk with Nikki Newman. While the job was one thing, Claire learned about Nikki and Victor's situations with Billy Abbott and Lily Winters. The information that Nikki provided also shows Claire what kind of man her grandfather really is. Claire has heard stories, but Victor shows himself one particular way with her. So, at first, Claire wasn't sure what to make of these stories. Now Claire is getting a much clearer picture of Victor Newman. My and our spoilers, Victor Newman's warning. On Wednesday, November 27, Claire will get a warning from Victor. The Newman patriarch will strongly dissuade Claire from getting too close to Kyle Abbott. While Claire loves and respects Victor, she also might have a problem with his level of control. It could remind Claire a bit of Jordan. Of course, it's also possible that Claire quietly hears Victor's warning, but says nothing to rock the boat. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott confess. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 27 reveal that Jack and Diane have been trying to explain things to Kyle. When Ashley Abbott, Tressie Abbott, and Alan Laurent walk in, Jack and Diane will have some explaining to do. While Jack will be convinced his family will forgive the deception, could there be another twist? I and our spoilers, Wednesday, November 27, 2024. On Wednesday, November 27, fans will also watch as Nate opens his home to Amy. At first, Amy is hesitant as she doesn't want her staying there to put pressure on Nate. At the same time, Nate will get to know Amy better. Will Nate's dynamic with Damien go as smoothly? For some reason, I have a feeling that Damien's debut will be quite explosive. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 27, 2024? What are your predictions for Nate, Damien, Amy, Claire, and Victor? What does the future hold for Jack, Diane, Kyle, Tracy, Alan, and the other residents of Genoa City? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 27 indicate some major moments as Genoa City families gather to celebrate Thanksgiving. One character gives their granddaughter a warning about her romantic interest, while a scheming super couple has some cards up their sleeves, and someone opens their home to another. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Wednesday? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victor Newman's warning. My and our spoilers for Wednesday, November 27, reveal that Victor Newman has always been someone who loves to meddle in his children's and grandchildren's lives, so it's no shocker he'll warn Claire Newman about Kyle Abbott. Sounds like he'll bring this up at some point during the Newman family Thanksgiving celebrations. But will this warning from her grandfather cause Claire to slow things down with Kyle? Highly unlikely. Y and R spoilers, DAC schemes. Speaking of Kyle, Y and R spoilers for Wednesday, November 27 imply his parents will still have some cards up their sleeves where Victor is concerned. As fans who watched the Tuesday, November 26 episode know, the Moustache handed over Glissade to Diane Abbott as a shell company, selling off all its assets. This made her fuming mad. However, Jack Abbott was not surprised. The bad news is that Victor gained the upper hand, but the good news is that it sounds like Jack has some moves he plans to execute in retaliation. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Nate Hastings opens up his home. Across town, Y and R spoilers for Wednesday's show note that Nate Hastings will open his home to Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford. His half-brother's mom might be alone for Thanksgiving, so Nate may decide to have her over for dinner, which is a nice thought, but what will Audra Charles think about all this, and will the two get along? In other news, due to the American Thanksgiving holiday, the soap will be preempted on Thursday, November 28, and Friday, November 29, with CBS Sports airing in its place. As such, Wednesday's show will be the last episode of the week. What storyline are you most excited about seeing on Wednesday? Comment below. Catch Y and R daily on CBS and visit SOS often for the best Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 27, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Victor Newman to warn Claire Grace Newman. Nate Hastings opens his home to Amy Lewis. Coming up on The Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott make a confession about their deception. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless, Claire Grace Newman's discovery. Why and are spoilers for Wednesday, November 27 reveal that Claire just had a talk with Nikki Newman. While the job was one thing, Claire learned about Nikki and Victor's situations with Billy Abbott and Lily Winters. The information that Nikki provided also shows Claire what kind of man her grandfather really is. Claire has heard stories, but Victor shows himself one particular way with her. So, at first, Claire wasn't sure what to make of these stories. Now Claire is getting a much clearer picture of Victor Newman. Why and are spoilers. Victor Newman's warning. On Wednesday, November 27, Claire will get a warning from Victor. The Newman patriarch will strongly dissuade Claire from getting too close to Kyle Abbott. While Claire loves and respects Victor, she also might have a problem with his level of control. It could remind Claire a bit of Jordan. Of course, it's also possible that Claire quietly hears Victor's warning, but says nothing to rock the boat. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott confess. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 27 reveal that Jack and Diane have been trying to explain things to Kyle. When Ashley Abbott, Tressie Abbott, and Alan Laurent walk in, Jack and Diane will have some explaining to do. While Jack will be convinced his family will forgive the deception, could there be another twist? My and our spoilers. Wednesday, November 27, 2024. On Wednesday, November 27, fans will also watch as Nate opens his home to Amy. At first, Amy is hesitant as she doesn't want her staying there to put pressure on Nate. At the same time, Nate will get to know Amy better. Will Nate's dynamic with Damien go as smoothly? For some reason, I have a feeling that Damien's debut will be quite explosive. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 27, 2024? What are your predictions for Nate, Damien, Amy, Claire, and Victor? What does the future hold for Jack, Diane, Kyle, Tracy, Alan, and the other residents of Genoa City? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers recap for Wednesday, November 27, reveals that Nate Hastings will welcome Amy Lewis into his home for Thanksgiving, but they'll be interrupted by a knock at the door before he can reveal his decision about Damien. Audra Charles will stop by with a cake since she didn't want Nate to be alone on Thanksgiving. Once Nate lets Audra in, she'll realize Amy is there and meet her. Amy will acknowledge that Audra has concerns about her story, but Nate will admit he confirmed all of it and has decided he'll help find Damien. However, Nate won't be ready to commit to forming a connection with Damien just yet. Even so, Amy will be thrilled over Nate's willingness to track Damien down and will hold out hope that the half-brothers can become friends. Later, Amy will start feeling faint, so Audra will get her some water while Nate elevates her feet on the sofa. Amy will tear up as she admits she lied a little when she said she wasn't afraid of dying, so Nate will assure her that's perfectly normal. Now that Nate's agreed to locate Damien, Amy will hope that her son can find a way to accept all the revelations about his true father, his new brother, and her terminal illness. At the Newman Ranch, Victor Newman will quiz Claire Newman about whether she's taking the job working for Nikki Newman. Claire will admit she's not happy about the treatment Kyle Abbott and Lily Winters endured, but Victor and Nikki will do their best to smooth things over. After Claire talks all this out with her grandparents, she'll delight Nikki and Victor by agreeing to work at Chancellor like Nikki wants. Victoria Newman and Cole Howard will seem a little uneasy over that news, but they'll get that it's Claire's decision to make. At one point, Claire will also take a phone call from Kyle. Will ask if she can sneak off and see Harrison Abbott for Thanksgiving. Claire will suspect Kyle also wants backup with Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott, so she'll agree to come over. Summer Newman won't seem pleased when she finds out Claire's heading over to the Abbott mansion, but she'll act like she's fine with it anyway. At the Abbott house, Jack will bring Diane in as they reveal their deception to Ashley Abbott, Tracy Abbott, and Alan Laurent. After Diane and Jack explain that they had to do something radical to get Kyle away from Victor, Ashley will still think it was extreme and humiliating for Kyle. Tracy won't be thrilled about getting duped either, but she'll at least be happy that Jack isn't in pain. Despite Jack's best efforts to get Billy Abbott to come to the family gathering, he won't show up. Diane will worry that Kyle isn't coming either, but Kyle will indeed walk through the door, though he'll warn that it's going to take more than pumpkin pie and turkey to fix what's broken. After Diane hints about something she wants to say to Kyle, Claire's arrival will delay her updates. As Claire shares some warm moments with Harrison and Kyle, Summer will show up looking rather jealous. Summer will also hug Harrison and spend a little time with him, but she'll continue to look unsettled over Kyle's growing connection to Claire. After Claire and Summer are gone, the Abbotts will gather around the Thanksgiving table. That's where Diane will give Kyle back the co-CEO position and urge him to return to work alongside Jack, right where he should be. Kyle will get confirmation that Jack's on board before Diane cries about how much she wants to make up for past mistakes. At the Newman Ranch on Wednesday's I&R episode, Chelsea Lawson and Connor Newman will show up for the Thanksgiving celebration with Adam Newman. After Chelsea tells Nick Newman that she's sorry about what's going on with Sharon Newman, he'll bring up her breakup with Billy and quiz her about Adam's involvement. Chelsea will try to steer Nick away from talking about Billy and Sally Spectra just before Adam walks over. Adam will angrily confront Nick about questioning Chelsea about personal issues, and won't be pleased that this is happening behind his back. After Chelsea steps away, Nick will bring up the fact that Adam went to see Sharon despite Nick not wanting him to. Adam will point out that he doesn't take orders from Nick, so there'll be some tension before they get back to the celebration with the others. Victor and Nikki will make some speeches before they all share a grateful toast, so there'll be some heartwarming moments with their family gathered around. The Young and the Restless spoilers say there's much more drama to come for both the Abbotts and the Newmans, so we'll pass along more predictions on all the chaos. The Young and the Restless spoilers preview video for the week of December 2 to 6 reveals that spoilers say Kyle and Claire Newman will run into someone familiar outside society. Jordan will be wearing a blonde wig, hat, and sunglasses as a disguise, but Claire will still stop her and ask if they've met before. "I don't think so. Have a nice day," Jordan says in a British accent before hurrying off in Y&R's weekly preview video. Of course, Claire and Kyle assume Jordan is in prison, so they won't immediately put it together that she's on the loose in Genoa City again. Even so, this strange encounter could be something that becomes a crucial clue later on. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jordan and Ian Ward will continue to stir up trouble in the meantime, so stay tuned. Nick Newman will meet with Chance Chancellor, who will point out that Sharon Newman's case is in the DA's hands now. Nick will acknowledge that's because Sharon confessed, but he'll admit something about that isn't sitting right with him. That's why Nick will insist he needs Chance's help, so he'll make a pitch and perhaps play up the fact that they both know who Sharon is at her core. Chance may not know Sharon as well as Nick does, but he's certainly bonded with Sharon enough to realize her recent actions seem wildly out of character. Will Nick convince Chance to team up and try to unravel the rest of the mystery? Over with Jack Abbott, he'll have a little twinkle in his eye as he shares an idea that he'd like Diane Jenkins Abbott to consider. Diane will seem intrigued over Jack's news, so she'll be willing to hear him out. Since Diane will be out of a job if Kyle Abbott goes back to the Jabot co-CEO spot as planned, Jack may have an alternative position or project in mind. Perhaps Jack will make a prediction about a new gig being perfect for Diane. This might even have something to do with the plan Jack's cooking up for Victor Newman. Jack hinted about not being so certain that Victor would have the last laugh, so he's clearly got something in the works and may give Diane updates soon. The battle for power, Claire and Jordan's deadly game. In the intricate world of the young and the restless, where alliances are forged and broken with ruthless precision, Claire's presence in Genoa City is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Her return to town, after years of being a shadow in the Newman family's life, has caused ripples of unease, particularly for Claire herself. Her mind races with thoughts of the past, her lies, and the looming threat of Jordan Wilde, who now seems poised to destroy everything Claire has worked so hard to build. The tension between them is palpable, and the stakes have never been higher. Claire knows her existence in Genoa City has always been built on a foundation of lies. When she first arrived, claiming to be Victoria Newman's long-lost daughter, she was welcomed with open arms by the Newman family, eager to embrace the prodigal child who might one day carry the family legacy forward. But behind the facade of a perfect reunion was a dark truth. Claire had no legitimate claim to the Newman bloodline. The entire story of her being Victoria's daughter was fabricated. She and Jordan had orchestrated the DNA test that supposedly linked Claire to Victoria, an act that cemented her place in the family and gave her access to all the power and wealth that came with it. Claire's intentions were never about family bonds or love. Her purpose had always been to manipulate, to climb the social ladder, and to destroy the very people who trusted her. Victoria, Nick, and the entire Newman family had no idea they were being played like pawns in Claire's game of deceit. For Claire, the Newmans were nothing more than tools in her pursuit of power. Over the years, she kept her secrets locked away, until now. The return of Jordan to Genoa City is the catalyst that threatens to unravel everything. The truth is about to be exposed, and Claire's carefully constructed world is on the verge of crumbling. Jordan Wilde has been harboring a deadly secret, one that could destroy Claire's life as she knows it. Jordan, having played an integral role in Claire's deceit, is now ready to turn the tables and take Claire down. She plans to reveal the truth about Claire's false identity and expose her as a fraud to the entire town. Jordan Wilde, a reckoning for Claire. Jordan Wilde has always been a mysterious, calculating figure, one who knows how to manipulate others to achieve her own ends. She's been quietly watching Claire from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Now, with her return to Genoa City, Jordan's presence is unmistakable. The realization that Jordan is back in town sends a wave of panic through Claire, who knows her worst nightmare is about to come true. For Claire, the thought of being exposed by Jordan is terrifying. In many ways, she owes everything to Jordan, her success, her position in the Newman family, the wealth and status she now enjoys. But Jordan is no fool. She sees Claire for who she truly is, a liar, a manipulator, and a betrayer. Jordan is determined to make Claire pay for the lies she's lived and for the destruction she's caused. The tension between Claire and Jordan is thick, as both women are well aware of each other's dark pasts. Claire knows Jordan has the power to destroy her in an instant, but Jordan also knows Claire will do anything to protect her secret. It's a deadly game of cat and mouse, with stakes higher than either could have imagined. The unthinkable decision, murder. As the pressure mounts, Claire realizes she cannot allow Jordan to destroy her. If Jordan reveals the truth, Claire would lose everything she's worked so hard for. The prospect of returning to a life of obscurity and rejection is more than Claire can bear. She begins to entertain a horrifying thought. What if she could eliminate the threat once and for all? If Jordan were out of the picture, no one would ever know the truth about Claire's deceit. It's a thought that sends chills down Claire's spine, but in her desperate state, it seems like the only way out. The idea of murder is something Claire never imagined she would contemplate. But as the walls close in, she feels cornered. If she doesn't act quickly, Jordan will destroy her, and Claire will not allow that to happen. For Claire, the stakes are life and death, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to keep her secret safe. The ultimate showdown, who will prevail? The stage is set for a deadly confrontation between Claire and Jordan. Both women have everything to lose, and neither is willing to back down. As Claire watches Jordan from a distance, she knows her window of opportunity is closing rapidly. Jordan's every move brings her closer to revealing Claire's secrets, and Claire knows the only way to stop her is to eliminate the threat. But as the tension builds, the question remains, who will emerge victorious in this high-stakes battle of wills? Will Claire carry out her plan and silence Jordan forever, or will Jordan expose the truth and bring Claire to justice? The outcome of this deadly game is uncertain, but the consequences of their actions could have far-reaching repercussions. For Claire, the stakes couldn't be higher. If Jordan reveals the truth about Claire's fraudulent identity, Claire's entire life will be destroyed. But if Claire eliminates Jordan, she can maintain her position, at least for now. For Jordan, the stakes are equally high. Her return to Genoa City is not just about revenge, it's about reclaiming control over her destiny. If she succeeds, Claire will be forced to face the consequences of her actions. The question is, which woman will come out on top in this deadly battle for power? One thing is certain, Genoa City is about to witness a showdown that could change the lives of Claire, Jordan, and everyone around them forever. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Courtney Hope, who plays Sally Spectra, recently joked she's considering a new job. Ironically, her new job involves something that Sally's parents, who worked for a carnival, might have done. The Young and the Restless spoilers. She sailed through the air with the greatest of ease. The actress portraying Sally Spectra playfully hinted at exploring a new opportunity. Courtney Hope, known for her role on the show, has impressed her fans with a newfound skill. If she chooses, she could even perform her own stunts on the daytime drama. Most notably, she has embraced a valuable lesson about reaching for the stars. Hope shared a collection of videos on her Instagram, with the first clip featuring her gracefully soaring on a trapeze. She made it appear effortless. The subsequent clips showcased her executing impressive flips in midair. In her post, she opened up about her past struggles with crippling anxiety. However, she certainly exuded bravery in this captivating footage. Why and are spoilers? Cirque du Soleil bound. Hope, teasingly, considered contemplating a new opportunity with the renowned Canadian circus, Cirque du Soleil. She has always loved reaching for the stars. I heard Cirque du Soleil is on the lookout for talent. My first trapeze class is officially scheduled, Hope shared with her followers. She made a promise to herself to tackle something big that scares me. Despite her fear of heights, it's hard to see that when you watch her videos. In a detailed post, Hope opened up about how her anxiety often holds her back from embracing risks in life. Over time, activities she once loved turned into sources of stress. Ultimately, she found herself stepping away from her passions due to the overwhelming lack of control she experienced. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Courtney encouraged her fans to stretch themselves outside their comfort zones. Hope encouraged her fans to step out of their comfort zones. Over the years, she had to challenge herself, and while it was tough, she discovered deep peace on the other side. Whether it's an experience, a conversation, or a new habit, let's support each other in living life fully and growing together in trust, courage, and experience, Hope ended her post. Many I and our fans were amazed by her acrobatic abilities. Some admitted they couldn't do anything like that, even if they tried. Other fans shared their own inspiring stories of facing fears. "You are truly amazing and an inspiration, such a smiley, beautiful person," one user commented. "Thank you for sharing this, a true inspiration." Another fan wrote, "Hope keeps uplifting her fans with her inspiring Instagram posts, which she frequently shares." The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that fans need to brace themselves for an explosive end to 2024. The show's executive producer, Josh Griffith, recently caught up with Soap Opera Digest ahead of the holiday season and talked about what viewers can expect as the year winds down to a close. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victor Newman versus Jack Abbott. Y&R spoilers reveal that Victor Newman has been relentless in his pursuit of revenge against Jack Abbott. He nearly destroyed the man's family life and business. However, Griffith tells SOD that fans should never count Jack out, noting that the moustache may think he's gotten the last laugh against Abbott, but Jack has a few plans up his sleeve. During the SOD interview, Griffith also notes that the romance between Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott will heat up, which will add fuel to the fire when it comes to Jack and Victor's rivalry. The show's executive producer compared the Kier romance to Romeo and Juliet because of their family's never-ending feud. Y&R spoilers, more love stories on the horizon. In addition, Griffith tells SOD that fans need to gear up for a love triangle between Billy Abbott, Sally Spectra, and Phyllis Summers. While Silly has solidified their romance recently when they hopped in bed together, it looks like Phyllis will enter the mix soon. Billy will pay a visit to Phyllis while she's in the hospital during the Tuesday, November 26 show, presenting a revenge plan against Victor. Will scheming bring these exes closer? Lastly, Josh notes that Lily Winters will finally find true love. While he didn't offer up any names, some Y&R viewers have a hunch it could be Nate Hastings' new half-brother, who is also set to debut before 2024 ends. Griffith closed his SOD chat by saying that from now until 2024 ends, Y&R fans can look forward to a roller coaster of suspense, romance, family, explosions, and twists, and turns like they haven't seen. Are you excited about the drama that's set to hit Genoa City as 2024 comes to a close? Tune into the Y&R Daily on CBS and visit SOS often for the best Young and the Restless spoilers and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers turn up the drama in the next 2 weeks. While the bubbly romance between Sally and Billy titillates you, the whole Phyllis and Sharon drama sees no end. Plus, Nikki gets into boss lady mode, and Nate gears up for some family time with Amy. Catch all the highlights from November 25 to December 6 below. Sparks fly between Sally and Billy, Nick interrogates Sharon. The Young and the Restless spoilers spill that Sally Spectra and Billy Abbott are hitting off. However, Adam Newman, Sally's ever-jealous ex, is not so thrilled about it. He tries to play it cool but fails miserably. He even orders champagne at the dues table to show that he's unfazed. Meanwhile, the iconic Victor Newman swoops in with some cutting remarks for Billy. After all, the Newman patriarch never misses an opportunity to stir the pot, right? Across Genoa City, Sharon Newman orders Cameron Kirsten to get out of her system. However, she lands in hot water again as her version of losing the phone raises eyebrows. While Nick Newman desperately wants to believe Sharon's side of the story, Mariah Copeland and Faith Newman don't buy it. Additionally, Nick will try to get to the bottom of everything. Don't be surprised if he starts grilling Sharon in the process. On the other side, Phyllis Summers, dealing with memory flashes about a hit and run, confronts Michael Baldwin. It's because the guy has chosen to fight for Sharon. Will Phyllis's memory from the crash uncover a major plot twist? Nikki takes lead at Chancellor, Ian and Jordan bruise another scheme. Elsewhere, Nikki Newman kicks off her reign at Chancellor, thanks to Victor pulling the strings for her. In the meantime, Billy clashes with Jill, while Jack Abbott mends fences with Kyle, and might consider making him co-CEO. Whoa, however, Kyle's romance with Claire will hit a snag since Victor votes against it. Later, Jack drops a shocking family revelation about his fake rift with Diane Jenkins. The bombshell leaves Ashley Abbott, Tracy Abbott, and Alan Lawrence stunned. Furthermore, Y&R spoilers reveal that Nate Hastings is dealing with some family drama of his own. He invites Amy Lewis over for the Thanksgiving meal and may follow breadcrumbs that lead to his half-brother Damien. Audra Charles has her doubts about Amy and will engage in some fiery talks at the dinner table. In another part of GC, the Newman Ranch is set to host a family gathering. Much to Adam's delight, Chelsea Lawson and Connor Newman also join the festivities. As for Jordan and Ian, the Madcaps are scheming in the shadows. They are eyeing Sharon's daughters, with Jordan hell-bent on messing with Claire, Nikki, and Victor's lives. Finally, Y&R takes a break for sports coverage on Thursday, November 28, and Friday, November 29. Buckle up for all the twists, tears, and turkeys. Since the young and the restless Daniel left Lily to return to Heather, Lily has spiraled professionally, and she has had nothing going on personally. Her kids aren't even in town to distract her. Thankfully, there may be a light at the end of the tunnel for the former Chancellor executive. A lovely 2025 for Lily. According to Y&R head writer Josh Griffith, the show aims to beef up the soap's romance sooner rather than later, including for Lily. The executive producer recently told Soap Opera Digest, "And I think that Lily is going to find true love." As encouraging as that is, Griffith didn't get specific on whether true love will happen with someone new or someone currently on the canvas. Lily's former entanglements are embroiled in their own worlds. Daniel is dealing with the loss of Heather. Meanwhile, Griffith hinted that Billy ends up in a triangle of sorts with two force-of-nature redheads who used to do battle, Sally and Phyllis. If the show decides to pair Lily up with somebody currently starring on the soap, Crystal and Joshua Morrow have an idea. And it partly came to light during a fun game the Y&R cast played to help celebrate the show's 13,000th episode, Marry, Kill, Make a Sandwich With. In the video, Khalil first responded that there were no good guys in Genoa City. Mind you, she said this with Morrow and Jason Thompson right there in the room with her. But when push came to shove, Khalil said she'd marry Jack and kill Devin. Then she said she would make a sandwich with Nick. Morrow gave Khalil quick clicks of approval. Meanwhile, over the summer, Morrow talked to Soaps.com about a potential Nick and Lily pairing, and he sounded like he wanted it to happen. He even considered Nick and Lily a missed opportunity. "I've wanted to have a story with her for a while. I think Crystal is awesome to watch," Morrow revealed. Earlier this year, Nick and Lily had a random lunch together. However, nothing developed, even though they could clearly relate to each other. At the time, Nick lost Sally, while Lily lost Daniel. So what if this love that may come Lily's way is Nick Newman? The battle for power, Claire and Jordan's deadly game, the return of Kane Ashby, a reckoning in Genoa City. In the ever-complicated world of the young and the restless, few characters have been as beloved and as fiercely protective as Kane Ashby. His sudden and extended absence from the scene has left a void, particularly in the life of Lily Winters, his ex-wife and the mother of his children. For years, Kane has been a central figure in Lily's life, her confidant, her partner, and at one point, the love of her life. Their connection was undeniable, and despite their tumultuous separation, the bond they shared was something that neither time nor distance could erase. Now, as Lily grapples with her most desperate and vulnerable moments, Kane's return promises to shake things up in a way that only someone with his strength and resolve can. Lily is at a breaking point. She's emotionally and mentally worn down from years of struggles, betrayals, and the feeling of being utterly alone. She finds herself in a place where no one trusts her, no one is standing by her side, and the relationships she once held dear seem to have vanished. The people she once counted on have turned their backs, and she is left with nothing but her own despair. In the midst of this darkness, however, Lily's life is about to change. Daniel Romolotti, a longtime ally and friend, drops a bombshell. A friend of his, someone with significant ties to Genoa City, is about to make a reappearance. The cryptic message leaves Lily with mixed emotions: relief, curiosity, and most of all, the flicker of hope that perhaps this person could offer her the strength and support she so desperately needs. Little does she know, the person Daniel is talking about is none other than Cain Ashby, the man who once loved her unconditionally, the man she still thinks of fondly despite their past. Cain's return, a new beginning or a reckoning. Cain's return to Genoa City isn't just a simple reunion, it's a statement. It has been more than 5 years since Cain was written out of the show, and during that time, many fans have missed the complex, passionate character who had an undeniable presence. His absence has left a gap not just in Lily's life, but in the dynamics of the entire city. Cain, who was once a central figure in the Winters family, the Abbott family, and even the world of business, has always had a powerful impact on those around him. Now that Cain is back, his return will undoubtedly activate old conflicts and stir up a whirlwind of emotions. As a man of principle, Cain's sense of justice is unwavering, and the fact that Lily is in such distress will be a rallying cry for him. He is not the kind of man to stand idly by when someone he loves is in danger, and Lily's recent struggles will fuel his determination to protect her no matter the cost. Cain's protective instincts will be front and center as he takes matters into his own hands, ensuring that those who have wronged Lily will have to answer for their actions. While his primary focus will be on Lily, Cain's return is far from one-dimensional. His time away from Genoa City has likely given him the opportunity to reassess his enemies, reflect on old grudges, and gear up for a new chapter in his life. Cain has accumulated many enemies over the years, people who have crossed him, deceived him, and betrayed him. Those same enemies may find themselves in his crosshairs as he begins to make his presence known in Genoa City once again. Cain isn't the kind of man to forgive and forget, and anyone who has wronged him or his loved ones is likely to feel the heat of his vengeance. Lily's struggle, a glimmer of hope. For Lily, the return of Cain signifies more than just the reappearance of a former lover. It is a potential lifeline, a sign that perhaps she is not as alone as she thought. Despite their separation and the challenges they faced, Lily has never truly gotten over Cain. There's a deep, unshakable connection between them, one that goes beyond their past misunderstandings and hurts. Lily has missed Cain more than she is willing to admit, and her longing for him has grown more intense as she has faced the harsh realities of her life. The truth is, Cain's love was one of the few constants in Lily's life, and his unconditional support meant the world to her. Their history is complicated, but at its core, it was rooted in deep affection and respect. To have Cain back in her life, especially when she's feeling so vulnerable, brings Lily a sense of comfort and security she sorely lacked. However, the question remains, can they pick up where they left off, or has enough time passed for their relationship to be irreparably changed? While the thought of reuniting with Cain brings Lily hope, it also stirs up a deep well of fear. The pain of their past still lingers, and Lily is hesitant to dive back into something that might only end in heartbreak. But with so much weighing on her, the prospect of having someone like Cain by her side is a powerful temptation. Cain's enemies. The war begins. As much as Cain's return brings Lily some semblance of hope, it also signals the beginning of a new war in Genoa City. Cain has made plenty of enemies over the years, ruthless people who would stop at nothing to see him fail. But what they don't realize is that Cain is not the same man he was when he left. He's older, wiser, and more determined than ever to protect the ones he loves. This time, that means Lily. His enemies will quickly learn that Cain isn't one to be underestimated. Those who have hurt Lily, whether emotionally, financially, or physically, will soon find themselves in Cain's crosshairs. He will stop at nothing to make sure that justice is served, and anyone who threatens Lily's peace or safety will be dealt with swiftly. Cain's fierce loyalty and sense of justice will drive him to take on any challenge that comes his way, regardless of how dangerous or high stakes the situation may become. Whether it's business rivals or personal enemies, Cain's return will reignite old battles that were thought to be long buried. But this time, the stakes are higher. Cain is not just fighting for his own future, he's fighting for the woman he loves, and he won't let anyone stand in the way of his protection of her. The battle for Lily, Cain versus the world. Ultimately, Cain's return will ignite an emotional and intense battle for Lily's heart. Trust and safety. Will Lily be able to overcome the scars of their past and accept Cain back into her life? Or will the ghosts of their history prevent them from rekindling their love? More importantly, will Cain be able to defeat the powerful forces arrayed against them and ensure that Lily is never again left vulnerable to those who would do her harm? As Cain and Lily's story unfolds, it will be clear that this is not just a tale of redemption or rekindled love. It is a battle between good and evil, between those who seek to destroy and those who fight to protect. Cain Ashby's return will be nothing short of a reckoning for the enemies of Genoa City and a second chance for Lily to find the love and support she so desperately needs. Together, they will face the trials that lie ahead, proving that sometimes love and loyalty are worth fighting for, no matter the cost. In the end, the question remains, will Cain be the one to save Lily from the depths of her despair, or will the forces of darkness in Genoa City prove to be too strong for even him to overcome? The stakes have never been higher, and the return of Cain Ashby will undoubtedly set the stage for a new chapter in both their lives, a chapter filled with danger, redemption, and the possibility of love once again. In the tumultuous world of the young and the restless, Sharon Newman is once again standing on the precipice of personal destruction. Her life, once filled with hope, love, and the promise of redemption, has been overshadowed by a series of devastating events. Betrayal, manipulation, and an overwhelming sense of isolation now define her existence, leaving her questioning her place in Genoa City. With her mental health hanging by a thread, Sharon is spiraling into a state of deep despair. The very people she thought she could rely on are either too distant or too entangled in their own troubles to offer any solace. Sharon is now isolated, abandoned, and betrayed, both by those she loves and by the world around her. As the weight of her guilt and actions presses down on her, it becomes increasingly clear that Sharon's emotional state is deteriorating. The walls are closing in, and the once fiercely independent woman is now drowning in a sea of self-doubt. What is perhaps most heartbreaking is that Sharon's emotional collapse is happening at the same time as Phyllis Summers is making her own comeback. Phyllis, who had been through her own tumultuous journey, is finally being discharged from the hospital after a partial recovery. Yet, instead of showing empathy for Sharon, Phyllis is single-mindedly focused on reclaiming her reputation. She is consumed with proving herself again in the eyes of Genoa City, especially in the eyes of Nick Newman, whose affections and loyalties remain a key point of contention between the two women. As Phyllis works tirelessly to restore her dignity, Sharon is left in the shadows, feeling increasingly neglected and invisible. The silent suffering of Sharon is palpable. It is in this dark moment of emotional isolation that Sharon is struck hardest. She watches as Nick, the man she once loved, turns his attention toward Phyllis. Sharon can't help but feel a deep ache of betrayal in her heart. Nick's caring gestures toward Phyllis, who had once been a threat to their relationship, cut through Sharon like a knife. Sharon had hoped that Nick would be the one to stand by her during her time of need, yet his focus seems to shift more and more toward Phyllis's recovery. To Sharon, this is a painful reminder of how far she has fallen. Alone and vulnerable, Sharon's emotions overwhelm her, and tears begin to fall as she contemplates the harsh reality of her life. How did I get here? She wonders. Once a woman of strength and conviction, she now feels like a shadow of her former self. Her relationship with Nick, though still strong in some ways, has become strained by the distance between them. Sharon knows that Nick cares for her, but she can't help but feel that his loyalty is divided. She is also keenly aware that Phyllis, as much as she has tried to harm her in the past, is now occupying a significant space in Nick's life once more. A promise and a glimmer of hope. In a tender moment of vulnerability, Sharon confides in Nick, seeking reassurance that he will not abandon her. Nick, understanding the depth of Sharon's pain, pulls her close, and the two share a heartfelt embrace. I won't leave you, Sharon, he promises, his voice heavy with sincerity. You've been through so much, and I see you for who you are. You didn't ask for any of this. Nick's words bring a fleeting sense of comfort to Sharon, but the reality of her situation is undeniable. As much as Nick wants to help, he is powerless to shield her from the storms that rage within her and around her. Nick's commitment to Sharon goes beyond love. It's a promise to find justice for the things she's been through. He knows that Sharon is not the villain some make her out to be. She is merely a victim in a much larger scheme, and Nick is determined to uncover the truth behind the events that have torn her life apart. Deep down, he believes that someone or something has been manipulating Sharon into making decisions that led to her current predicament. The dark figures behind Sharon's downfall. As Nick grapples with his feelings for Sharon and Phyllis, he begins to dig deeper into the mystery of who is truly behind Sharon's downfall. But the more he uncovers, the more he realizes that Sharon's situation is far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. He becomes increasingly suspicious of Ian Ward and Jordan Wilde, two shadowy figures whose involvement in the recent chaos surrounding Sharon has raised more questions than answers. Both men have tried, and failed, to manipulate Sharon into becoming an ally in their schemes. But their failure does not mean they are finished with her. Nick knows that someone, whether Ian, Jordan, or another unseen player, is pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It's clear that Sharon was set up, caught in a web of deception and manipulation. As he vows to protect her and expose the true culprits, Nick begins to take matters into his own hands. He knows that he can't let Sharon suffer in silence any longer. A mysterious observer. One night, as Nick watches Sharon from a distance, something catches his attention. A figure stands just outside the window, watching her in a way that sends a chill down his spine. Who is this man? Why is he so interested in Sharon? Nick's protective instincts flare, and he begins to follow the mysterious figure, determined to uncover the truth. As he tracks the stranger through Genoa City, Nick is unaware that he is stepping into a dangerous game, one that could threaten not only Sharon's life, but his own. The man's identity remains a mystery, but it's clear he is more than just a casual observer. Nick's decision to pursue him is risky, but it is also an act of love and loyalty. If this stranger is connected to the forces tormenting Sharon, then Nick is prepared to do whatever it takes to stop him. A web of lies and betrayals. As the investigation deepens, Nick realizes that the web of lies and betrayals surrounding Sharon is more tangled than he ever imagined. The people closest to her, those she once trusted, have played a role in her downfall, whether knowingly or unknowingly. But the larger conspiracy is much darker than anyone could have anticipated. With each new revelation, Nick becomes more determined to protect Sharon from the forces threatening to destroy her. But in doing so, he risks everything: his safety, his relationships, and his sense of peace. The stakes are higher than ever, and Genoa City will never be the same. As for Sharon, she remains in the dark, unaware of the dangers lurking around her. She continues to battle her own demons, and the weight of her emotional isolation is only compounded by the events unfolding around her. Whether she can emerge from this nightmare unscathed, or whether the truth will finally set her free, remains to be seen. The story of Sharon Newman is far from over. As the pieces fall into place, the truth behind the events leading to her downfall may be more shocking than anyone could have predicted. In the end, will Sharon find redemption, or will the darkness continue to consume her? No matter how much love and support Nick tries to give her, the only certainty is that the road ahead will be long, painful, and fraught with more danger than Sharon could ever have imagined. My&R/Sharon Newman to face her consequences. The Young and the Restless Comings and Goings has just declared G.C. Cameron free. Halloween had almost become a never-ending affair for Sharon Newman, but she has finally waved goodbye to a literal ghostly chapter in her life. Yep, Sharon recently bid adieu to the unhinged Cameron Kirsten, who has been scheming in her head for ages. While we loved Lyndon Ashby's menacing portrayal, he did overstay his welcome. So how did Sharon let him go? Sharon bids a touching goodbye. The Young and the Restless Comings and Goings confirm that fans were fed up with seeing Cameron's blood-stained, shabby shirt. And let's not even talk about his unrelenting bad advice that got Sharon into trouble. Moreover, all these things irked viewers, and they hoped Cameron would vanish for good. Then came the epic moment, a showdown at Crimson Lights that fans won't forget anytime soon. Sharon finally flipped the script with a bold move and reclaimed control of her own life. We bet it got you cheering out loud for her. She finally said goodbye to her haunted past and cut all ties with Cameron with one word: forever. Mind you, it wasn't your average farewell, but a proper mic drop moment. Yep, no second guessing and no eerie returns for Cameron as Sharon listened to her inner voice. And just like that, the already dead psycho vanished like a puff of smoke. We'll surely miss Ashby's bone-chilling delivery and that somewhat horrifying charm he brought to the screen. However, nobody wants to see that cursed blood-stained shirt ever again, right? That thing was nightmare fuel. For what felt like an eternity, Cameron became Sharon's personal nightmare. He always puts her into dangerous situations, one episode at a time. He started off by making Sharon lace Daniel's whiskey with poison. Yep, he wanted to avenge Cassie's death, but Heather unfortunately became collateral damage. This ghostly bad influence led Sharon into a labyrinth of guilt and darkness. Meanwhile, the on-screen sparks between Ashby and Sharon Case were off the charts, but enough was enough. Everyone was practically begging for Sharon to catch a break. Now that Sharon has closed the door on Cameron, it's not just the end of a chapter. Our girl has gotten a fresh new start and shouldn't take it for granted. Here's a toast to Sharon, the slayer of imaginary demons. Keep checking out Soap Opera Daily to stay in the loop for more The Young and the Restless Comings and Goings. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Sharon Newman finally confessed to attacking Heather Stevens. Sharon doesn't realize that she has been framed for Heather's murder. Sharon also confessed to running Phyllis Summers off the road as well. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman framed Daniel Rumalotti. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon also framed Daniel Rumalotti for the attack on Heather as well. Sharon finally confided in Nick Newman, who helped her talk to Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, about everything she thought she did. Sharon was convinced that she would lose Nick and her family over everything she has done. However, Faith Newman and Maria Copeland don't believe that Sharon could have done this no matter what she believes. Nick doesn't believe it either and is determined to prove what really happened. My&R spoilers. Victor Newman bring Adam Newman into the situation. Victor Newman decided to ask Adam Newman's opinion of Sharon's situation. Victor wondered if anyone at the ranch was in danger from Sharon. Sharon had caused issues because of her bipolar disorder before, and she used to be very close to Adam. Victor believes Adam is a better judge of her character than Nick is. Of course, Adam has to bring up how close he and Sharon used to be. Adam would do anything to rile Nick up. Adam has to make himself seem more important than he is. Adam has been attempting to reunite with Chelsea Lawson, and this could very easily mess up those plans if he continues to play Victor's game. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon Newman is innocent. Ian Ward and Colleen Zink seem to be to blame for Sharon's blackouts, as well as the attacks on everyone that Sharon is getting the blame for. Someone needs to figure this out and prove Sharon's innocence. Adam finds himself compelled to visit Sharon and offer to help her with this situation. However, Sharon will refuse his assistance. Nick will be the one that Sharon needs to get her through this situation. Sharon doesn't need the dark bond that she has with Adam to pull her through. Sharon needs the love that Nick has always had for her. Of course, Chelsea will likely get jealous of Adam's attempts to help Sharon. Chelsea knows that Adam has hurt her before, and she knows he will likely do it again. Will Adam continue until he loses Chelsea because he wants to stick it to Nick? Who does Adam truly want to be with? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jordan and Ian Ward will eventually shift gears as they focus on Jordan's desires in this crisscross partnership. Jordan will inevitably want to go after Claire Newman and make her pay for turning into such a traitor. Since Jordan raised Claire and brainwashed her to loathe the Newmans, she expected loyalty in return. Instead, Claire ultimately got the help she needed to break free of Jordan's twisted control. Now Claire has embraced her new life with the Newmans and is fully enjoying her place in the family. You can bet Jordan will want to rip all that away when the time comes. It's possible Jordan will want fatal revenge, but what if her initial plot is more complicated than that? Jordan may want to prolong Claire's suffering, so we should think about how she might do the maximum damage. What's the best way for Jordan to hurt both Claire and the new family she's come to love so much? Perhaps what Jordan and Ian have done to Sharon Newman could offer a clue. Y and R fans know Sharon has been spiraling out of control in recent months, but it's not her fault. There's been a lot of focus on Sharon's messed up meds, so there's a good chance Ian and Jordan made sure she was drugged into going off the rails. Maybe Claire could land in a similar situation once Jordan and Ian start targeting her next. After all, Claire could be taking some medications to keep herself balanced following her own stint in the psych ward. Jordan could easily mess with Claire's meds if that's the case. If not, perhaps Jordan could start secretly drugging Claire's tea or coffee at some point. Where there's a will, there's a way. We have no doubt that Jordan could pull off drugging Claire if she sets her mind to it. Regardless, it'd be interesting if Jordan drove Claire over the edge and scrambled her brain into targeting Nikki Newman again. Jordan's goal might be to make Claire look like she's having a setback or that she never really changed in the first place. Jordan definitely has some terrible news in store for Claire and the whole Newman clan, so stick with us for updates on any curveballs along the way. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Claire will get tangled up in plenty of Jordan chaos, so we'll bring you more predictions on all the mayhem.